Jim Hahn calls me and says, hey, I want to appoint you as a president of the police commission. And I said, Mr. Mayor, I really appreciate it, but I don't want the job. Because I knew what the job was going to entail. Potentially having to fire a very, very popular chief of police. And he's 2 or 3 times called back. I finally did it. So glad I did because I learned so much from the experience. At the end of the day, decided we needed to move on and have a different chief of police.
What was wrong? What was he doing?
What he was doing, Joe, is he had put in procedures, discipline procedures, that were so onerous on the officers that, one, officers were leaving, but more importantly, the bad guys, particularly the gangs, were very smart that they would start filing complaints in certain areas that they wanted to control around the city. And so the officers started getting all these complaints on their record, and once they did, it held up any kind of promotion or transfer. So what did the cops started doing? They started saying, I'm just not going to go to that area. And the minute they abandoned that area, the gangs controlled it, and crime was going crazy.
How clever.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So I would go to the chief and say, come on, you got to change the discipline process. Nope, not changing a thing. Very stubborn guy. He had all the answers. But, yeah, and I don't mean that. It's facetious. He didn't have all the answers, obviously. But so that was a main problem. So if you had an area of the city that bordered L.A. County, L.A. City crime was rising. L.A. County was going down because the sheriffs are actually proactively, and not in an abusive way, proactively policing it. LAPD was retreating. Cops were upset. Cops were leaving. The academy is empty. All of these things were happening. Had to change leadership. I had people burning me in effigy, literally. My wife would call me and say, oh, my God, they're burning you outside of City Hall. They're marching. It was crazy to put pressure on me to keep Bernie Parks. Not because Bernie Parks was the best chief of police, because it was politically correct to do that. And I remember calling Jimmy Hahn, the mayor, and I said, I'm going to make a recommendation, and you're probably not going to like it because you're going to come under a lot of heat. And to his credit, he said, just do what's right. I'll take the heat. And I recommended we hire Bill Bratton.